Okay, thanks everyone, and welcome to this meeting of the South West Wales Corporate Joint Committee Economic Wellbeing and Regional Economic Development Subcommittee. So welcome all. Just a reminder that the meeting is being recorded, and for good housekeeping, if you can ensure that your microphones are muted when you're not speaking, and that you raise your hand if you do wish to contribute, either electronically or if that's not working, raise your physical hand. We've received apologies today from Councillor Paul Miller, and we've got Councillor Sinnott representing Pembrokeshire today, so welcome Councillor Sinnott. I don't have any other changes for today, but I'm happy to take them if we've had any late notifications. Simon, do you want to come in? Simon Davis?
Yes, thank you, Chair. Ainsley Williams sends his apologies, not able to make it today.
Okay, thank you very much, Simon. We'll record those. Any others before we move on? No? Okay, we'll move then to declarations of interest. Are there any interests that members need to declare or officers need to declare for today's agenda? I don't see any hands up. Okay, we'll move then to the minutes of the previous meeting, pages 3 to 6. These were the ones held on the 11th of February 2025. I haven't had any requests for any amendments, but happy to take them if there are any. If not, I'm happy to move them as a true record. Could I ask for a seconder, please? Yeah, thank you very much, Councillor Evans. All those in favour, if you're happy to agree the minutes? Okay, thank you very much, colleagues. We'll move then to item 4, our first substantive item, which is the review of the South West Wales Regional Economic Delivery Plan. And this is on page 7 to 12. And I think Phil Holmes is going to take us through this one. So Phil, over to you.
I will, thank you, Chair. This report is for information at this stage. It's an update for you based on the work that we're doing with a company called SQW. Some of you may have heard of them. They have worked with us in the past on very similar initiatives. The particular work that they're doing now is what we've called a midterm review. And what they're reviewing is a document that we produced back in 2021, which is called the South West Wales Regional Economic Delivery Plan. Effectively, it's an economic regeneration strategy for the region. We produced it back in 2021. If you think of what was going on around that time, we were just sort of coming out of the pandemic, so we felt it was a really important time to, if you like, take stock of what had happened over the last few years and what we thought were the key actions for us as a region to get us back on an even keel and move us forward economically. So that piece of work was done then, and pleased to say back then it was well received. It was adopted by all 4 of the local authorities, and then by the CJC also as the key strategy, if you like, for the economic wellbeing strand of the CJC's work. And we've attached a copy of that document in the report. Just to sort of remind people in terms of what the document was about, it really tried to simplify as much as possible in terms of the key things that we should be looking at. So it only had 3 ambitions really for the region in terms of its economic prosperity, and that was to become more resilient and sustainable, to become more enterprising and ambitious, and more balanced and inclusive. And they were quite broad, but they were underpinned then by 3 missions, which were much more specific in terms of some of the things that we thought we had a competitive advantage in. So there was a mission all around promoting the area in terms of renewable energy and the development of a net zero economy. And of course, we have competitive advantages in that area, so it made sense to try to promote those as much as possible. Also, there's a mission around the business base that we've got, so making it stronger, more resilient, more embedded, and growing that business stock within the region. And again, that's important for us. We do rely a lot on things like public sector in terms of that as a sector within the economy. So it was about growing that business base and everything that comes with that. And then also the third mission really was what we called growing and sustaining the experience offer. And again, that's no surprise when you think of the environmental quality, the quality of life that we have to offer in this region, the tourism experience, those sorts of things. So those three missions made a lot of sense back then, and the feeling is they probably do now as well. I mean, it's 4 years since the production of the strategy, but SQW were reviewing that now. They're also looking at how the economy has changed since that document was produced, and it has changed quite a bit since we bounced back from COVID. They're looking at changes to the policy context, both in terms of Welsh government policy and UK government policy. So we've seen things like UK government's industrial strategy coming online. And we've also seen things like AI sort of exploding, recently. And it's, again, that perhaps wasn't on the radar as much then as it is now. And another key part of their work, in addition to those missions I talked about, there's a whole raft of projects that sit under those missions, 40 odd projects, I believe, something like that. So they're reviewing all of those because they want to see what progress we've made in delivering them. But they're also looking at the new things that have come in. So, for instance, the free port. We didn't envisage a free port 4 years ago. That's come in since. We didn't envisage shared prosperity fund. That's come in since. So they're having to look at the stuff that we said we'd do and how well we've done it, and also the new things that have come in as well. And they're trying to assimilate all of that so that what we can have moving forward after this review is a refreshed sort of strategic position as a region, so that when we are talking to Welsh government, when we are talking to UK government, when we are talking to inward investors, we've got an up-to-date strategy in terms of what we think we're about and what we can achieve in the next few years. So that work is ongoing. SQW did make a presentation to the Private Sector Advisory Board last week, and there was lots of good debate there. So we've invited the Private Sector Advisory Board to come back with some written comments, and then we'll factor those in. And I think the plan then is to invite SQW to come along to this committee to share everything that they've done in terms of the review and the recommendations going forward. And then perhaps further changes will be needed, but then on to the CJC itself then later in the year. I think that's the plan in terms of next steps. So as I say, it's for information at the moment, but I'm more than happy to take any questions, Chair. Thank you.
Many thanks, Phil, for that run through. Yeah, as you say, SQW have done some good work in the past. So again, they're a company that comes with a good track record, and I think the update is very welcome. I'll open it up to members in terms of any questions or comments for Phil, if anybody has any. Liz, over to you next.
Sorry, Phil, if I haven't picked this up, but what's the time scale here? When have they got to report by?
It's a little bit open-ended, but if I stick my neck out, I'd like to see this all concluded September time. I really would like to see us report into the CJC in September. I mean, we've appointed SQW, in fairness to them, on a fixed budget. And so, what these things are like, the longer they drag out, the more time they're going to put into it, the more time we put into it. I just think it's a review. We don't need to spend forever on it. So I personally would like to see it all done by September. I think that would help us then in terms of whatever discussions we need with Welsh Government and UK Government. It puts us up to date, and we can go forward from there. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Great, thanks for that. Councillor Sinnott. Rhys?
Thanks, Rob. Yeah, and forgive me, I'm not usually a member of this committee, so what I might be saying is, completely, part of the day-to-day working of the group. But I was interested to hear Phil talk about the private sector advisory group, and I'm just wondering, it feels like to me things are running in kind of parallel, this group and the private sector group. Is there any way of bringing them together, or do you bring them together to get that shared learning? Because certainly it's something that I would value to get their points of view on where they see the growth areas going forward. So if there's an opportunity to bring this group and the private sector group together in some sort of shared workshop, maybe, or meeting, I'd be really interested in that, Rob. So, but forgive me if that happens on a regular basis.
Yeah, thank you for that, Councillor Sinnott. Phil, do you want to deal with that? I know we do have the Economic Strategy Board set up, and that they report into the main JC, and will do on a regular basis. But if you want to expand on that, Phil.
Yeah, at the moment we've approached it as reporting to different groups, but I take the point entirely. And if there was an opportunity for a joint workshop, it would also, I think, reduce SQW's burden as well, in terms of, you know, trying to facilitate lots of discussions with lots of different groups. We can look at that. I think it's a very useful suggestion. We look at that. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Are there any other further points for Phil? If not, this one is for noting, so I could ask colleagues if they're happy to note the report. So, apologies, Councillor George, my apologies.
Thank you, Chair. Phil, I was just going to ask, was there any funding aligned to this strategy initially? Was it a lever for something particularly?
Was there funding to produce it, or funding
to you were trying to, so you had the missions particularly to try and lever certain funding, or was it you mentioned shared prosperity funding came after this, so was it, what was the purpose of these three?
To be honest, I think the view that we took was, if we make sure that this work is evidence-based and it's a coherent strategy that people can get behind, the funding will follow. We weren't chasing a particular funding pot. I know some councils might have done that, you know, it's like produce a strategy to attract funding. I think our view was, let's get the strategy that's right for the region, and then we can use that in our discussions with funders. And it's worked really well, if I'm honest, with things like Shared Prosperity Fund. It was perfect for that. And perhaps I should have mentioned as well at the start that the actual first strategy was funded, if I recall, by Welsh Government, because they had a need for this sort of coherent approach as well. So it was just a timely opportunity for us with Welsh Government. But yeah, you might say, you know, you should go chasing the money, but I think sometimes if you get the strategy right, the money will hopefully come to us. Yeah,
that's refreshing. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, Phil. Councillor Evans, I think your hand went up. I'll just check in. Did you want to come in? That's fine.
Sorry, Rob. No, it was just I thought you were asking if we wanted to approve the report.
No problem. Okay, if there are no further comments or questions for Phil, then are we all happy to note this one? If you could show, please, colleagues. Thank you very much. We'll note that report then, and we'll move on then to our second report, which is the Regional Investment website, Regional Inward Investment website, pages 3 to 16 of your packs. And I'll bring Stuart Walters in to talk us through this one. Stuart, over to you.
Okay, thank you, Chair. Good afternoon, everyone. Just to give you a bit of background, Phil has been discussing and presented the regional strategy that we've been working on in terms of the review. Going alongside that, we are looking to try and get a website together which reflects the opportunities that are in being across the region. And we're working with colleagues in each of the local authorities in putting forward a number of opportunities which we can present to investors and others across the patch. If it's okay, Chair, is it okay if I share the draft that we've got with others so everyone can visualize it? So if I just bring that up, maybe 1 second. Okay, has that come up? Yeah, okay. So what you'll see, if I just take you through some of the tabs, etc. on here, we're looking to try and budget underneath the CJC, the South West Wales CJC. And just to run through very quickly, we've got some bit of background in terms of the region, some of the key indicators. We go into talent and skills, the connectivity in terms of the rail network, the road networks, etc. We got opportunities map, which I'll come on to. And as I say, if I just run through some of the other elements as well. So in terms of sectors, we've looked to target, again, this is aligned to the strategy that Phil has just presented as well. So we've got a number of sectors that we're looking to target across the region. And again, we've worked in partnership with all the local authorities to come up with these priorities and with SQW that Phil mentioned earlier. So we've got life science and well-being. We've got energy. We've got smart manufacturing. We've got digital and creative industries. We've got leisure and hospitality. And then if I go into the investment opportunities themselves, what you'll see are we've uploaded across the region a total of 29 different opportunities. So we've tried to put in one place all the different projects that are either ongoing, available, or in development. And if I just very quickly roll through, so you got Pendrawell, Carmarthenshire, YMCA, Market Street North, Cross Hands East in terms of the development we've got there, Llandilo Market Hall, and then moving on to Swansea, we've got a number of projects, the Biome, the Palace Theatre, Innovation Matrix, Kingsway, you've got Bay Technology Centre in Neath, Talbot, you've got the Bay Baglan Innovation Centre, then moving down further west, Tracoon, Pembrokeshire Food Park, Pembroke Dock Marine, and the Celtic Sea floating offshore. So again, there's a few more as well, which you can see for yourselves. So each of these tabs have got links to specifics. So if you click in, for argument's sake, Pendrawell, and I know I'm from Carmarthenshire, but I'm not biased at all, right, guys? So I'm just trying to give a reflection of what's going on across the patch. Pendrawell, you click in, and it gives a bit of an overview in terms of what's going on, what we're trying to create, how it's going to improve stuff within the area, etc. A bit of information in terms of the different zones we're looking to try and achieve, some visuals, etc., etc. So each one of the tabs I ran through 2 minutes ago, I've got similar links. So the idea is that this particular site will be able, someone's interested in the region could just go into this site and then get diverted off into the various opportunities across the region. We wanted one platform that could actually capture everything. So in addition to that, we've got an opportunities map. And the opportunities map is obviously across the region. And again, if you click into whichever one you wanted to have a look at, so it would take you then into the links I mentioned earlier about the investment side. So you can either do it looking at the list of the investment opportunities, or you can do it geographically or spatially on the map I've shown at the moment. So that's just a very quick whistle stop tour. If I stop sharing a second and just bear with me. Hopefully that's stopped now. Where we're at is, the idea is that this particular site, this is in development, so it's not finalised just for information at the moment. So it's in development. We're working with partners and each of the local authority partners to update the site. And the idea is that if a developer or an interested parties wants to know something about one of the projects, the idea is that it doesn't get centralised. It actually goes back to each of the local authorities. So they go in, and the way in which it's been structured, it goes back to the ones who've got the knowledge on the ground in each local authority, and then each local authority would pick that up and take forward the interest that comes in through this particular platform. This has been driven by the regional leads group across the region. So again, made up of heads of service in economic development. And we're hopeful that you can see this as a bit of a shop window and a platform for showing all the good stuff that's actually going on or about to be coming forward within the region. So on that basis, Chair, I'm quite happy to take questions if need be, and hand back to yourself.
Yeah, thanks, Stuart. And I was grateful for the preview of this a while ago, and just repeat the point I made then, which was obviously we know that there are a number of other landing websites that are active within our region. We've got the Invest in Swansea website, we've got different investment and council websites, and it's just making sure that we have that open door approach whereby if anybody lands or goes through a route that we weren't expecting, they get redirected onto the site, so that we don't lose anybody anywhere they go in the region. We always capture them. And I think you said that is the approach you take. And so just for benefit of others, I think that's really important. So, it doesn't matter how people enter our region, which route they come through with, they always get hopefully to where they need to be and get the information they need. So we don't lose them. But I'll open it up for comments and questions from members about the Invest in Wales webpage or the West in South West webpage. Anybody got any comments there for Stuart? Yeah, Councillor George first, please.
Thanks, Chair. Thanks, Stuart. Just wondering, in the list you had Pembrokeshire Food Park, but we didn't have agri-food or kind of any food element down in the sectors. What was the thinking there?
As I mentioned, Councillor George, we're working on the site itself, so nothing's set in stone as in firm. And if there are sectors that we're missing or the sectors that we need to develop and bring forward, we've got no problem in introducing those as and when required. And as time goes by, I'm pretty sure things will change as well. So we need to make sure it's pretty fluid, and hopefully we can bring other opportunities and needs into this particular platform as and when required. So hopefully that answers the question.
Yeah, that's fine. Thank you, Stuart.
Thank you.
Great. Councillor Evans, did you wish to come in?
Yeah. Yes, thank you, Rob. I'm just wondering the timeline. When do you hope that this will go live, please?
Okay. We like the strategy. We presented this to the private sector board on Thursday last week as well, and we had some good feedback there as well. And to answer the question, we're looking at hopefully launch this in the next couple of weeks. There's a delegation going up to Leeds, I understand, in terms of the I can't remember the title of the actual event, sorry, but we hope for that this will be able to be available for that particular visit.
Okay, great. Councillor Sinnott.
Thanks, Rob. Yeah, thanks, Stuart. Very interesting. What is the kind of entry level point? Because they're all pretty big projects there at the moment. So what have you taken as an entry level size of a project to highlight?
Again, Councillor Sinnott, I think it's fair to say it's pretty flexible. If we put everything that was available, we've delivered through SPF, for example, the last couple of years. I know across the region, we probably won't be able to see the map, if I'm honest. So we've had to go at a certain scale. And what we've done is we've actually left it to each local authority to put forward their priorities, rather than say, for argument's sake, projects in Swansea might be a larger scale than maybe in Carmarthenshire, or vice versa, depending on what's what. So again, I think it's up for the local authorities to put forward what they feel is of regional significance. And again, we do have debates at the regional leads meeting that I mentioned earlier, where we try to pitch it at a certain level, but we're pretty open and we work pretty well together as officers to make sure that there's a bit of consistency as well. So I don't know if that answers the question or not. Thank you.
Yeah, you had a thumbs up there. That's great. Okay, colleagues. Are there any more comments, questions then for Stuart? If not, hopefully that will launch in the next few weeks, as we said. That should be a good addition for people looking to do business in South West Wales. It should be great for all of us. So with that then, can I ask you again to note this one, please, if you're all happy to do so? Thank you. When we move then, we've just got then AOB or urgent items. I've not been notified of any for today, but again, happy to take any if there are any. If not, colleagues, can I just say thank you to Phil and Stuart for their presentations today, and thank you all for your attendance, and see you next time. Declare the meeting closed. Okay, thank you all very much. Cheers.